Okay, so Frieren Friday. I feel like this will, for once, when I say something will be a short video, I actually expect it to. Because while I had a good time watching this episode, we're continuing, as I like to call it, the Hunter exam. It's not like a whole lot happened. We got our introduction to what round 2 is going to be, which is dungeon delving. Here's the dungeon. Get to the bottom. Anyone and everyone who gets to the dungeon or gets to the bottom of the dungeon passes. It is not the first, it's not the first few. If you all want to work together to get to the bottom, that is perfectly fine. I don't like violence. I love cooperation. Let's do this. And Denkin looks at this situation and goes, huh, it's probably a good idea. I think it's 18 people total. It's like, why don't all 18 of us just team up and travel as a giant group? If it's not a competition, let's just work together. The more people we have, the more heads we have, we can figure out how to best, get through a situation. If there's something that a couple of us can't handle that's right up someone else's alley, that's perfect. Let's do it. And a lot of people just being like, nah, don't want to do that. Don't want to work with you. I want to go by myself. Like, okay. So essentially what the rules are is A, like I said, get to the bottom. If you make it, you win. You're Gucci. 2, do it by dawn. There is a time limit. And 3, I love this so much. Everyone has this little glass container that has a golem in it. And you can throw it on the ground and shatter the container, which summons this giant Machoke, built golem that will defend you and carry you out of the dungeon. So the pros and cons of it. The con is it will take you out of the dungeon, which means you lose. It means you fail. If it breaks, you're screwed, or you can break it intentionally to get yourself out of a situation, but it means you fail. Alternatively, if you're in a situation where you say, I am literally going to die unless I break this, you can get out of it and survive. And there's a situation where a girl gets trapped in a room and there's walls with spikes that are slowly closing, and Denkin tries to blow up the wall and it doesn't work. And he's like, dude, you have to use your golem. So she does, and the golem breaks the walls, breaks another wall, grabs her, this is so goofy. This is wonderful. Speaking of goofy, there's a scene where Denkin is talking to a group. He's like, okay, I wanted a big group, but I guess the benefit of a small group is I feel like everyone in this group seems somewhat intelligent, and they're not stupid enough to fall for a mimic. So I immediately start laughing because I know Frieren's issue with mimics. I'm like, I know exactly where this is going. Please cut to her in a mimic. So it cuts to a treasure chest, and Frieren going, there's a grimoire in there. I can feel the mana. There's a good book in there. And Fern going, Frieren, you used the detection spell for mimics that has a 99% success rate. And it came up that this is a mimic. Why are you doing this? You're wrong. Yeah, Fern, but it has a 99% success rate. That means there's a 1% margin of error. And the greatest of discoveries and risks have been taken with that 1% margin of error. I want my book. And then she starts getting eaten. She starts getting eaten, and Fern's trying to pull her out. She can't get pulled out. And Fern's like, okay, that's what you have to do. Trust me, I'm experienced with this. You have to push me deeper into its mouth so that it chokes on me and spits me out. Which works. To which Fern asks, oh my god, what would you do if I wasn't here to save you? How did you manage on your own for so long? Oh yeah, if they eat me, I just blow them up from the inside, which works, but it kind of fries my hair and it gets all frizzled. Fern just kind of thinks back, huh? No, I have seen you look like that before. Huh. That explains it. Meanwhile, the proctor, who had said, yeah, I'm going to go down to the dungeon with everyone. That's how I'm going to be able to verify who passed. I will be there. I will see it with my own eyes. She travels with Frieren and Fern, who Frieren's just that's a trap, that's a trap, that's a trap. Just cruising through it, and then gets mimicked. And as she's watching this elf get mimicked, she's like, I travel with the wrong crew. This is dumb. She's really, really dumb. But it's a Frieren episode. We get some nice character stuff. We get Frieren reminiscing about Himmel and the crew and how Himmel was a dungeon dude. He's like, I love dungeons. I love exploring. Never go to the next floor unless you have fully, explored the floor above it or below it. I guess if you're going up or down. And Frieren, it eventually she has that mindset now too. Like, she really seems to like exploring. She likes just collecting oddball shit. Fern has a conversation with the Proctor. The Proctor's like, you are an enigma to me, Fern. Because you are so strong and so skilled, but so young. Most people with your level of skill, especially at your age, are very ambitious. They're very passionate. There's a reason they trained this hard. There's something they've trained for. But I feel none of that, and I see none of that in you. I don't really get it. And Fern going, there's nothing to really get? My passion was, I told somebody I would become a great mage. And that was my passion. And after I did become a great mage, I don't know, like, I kind of used it all up. Like, I'm good. But seeing Mom smile makes me happy. Like, seeing my mom smile is the closest thing, like, to passion that I have. So I'll take that. I'm like, that's so sweet. I love this. I love these two. I love these three. Stark isn't here, but, like, I love this trio and their dynamic. I think it's really fun. So some of the other crew, it's like Wirbel's trio encounters their own doppelgangers and start fighting them. Denkin's group encounters, what's her name, Lawfon, I think? The really fast girl, they encounter her doppelganger, and they team up and they destroy her, and they're like, okay. Really glad we all teamed up together, because, having to 1v1 yourself is kind of a problem. But we did it, we took care of it, and then they go to, like, the next room, as this Dark Souls boss music starts playing, as this figure is levitating in front of them, and it's Frieren's doppelganger, and Denkin is very clearly terrified by what he's about to face. Yeah, I think that was it. I thought it was a pretty good episode. Again, like, there was some nice character stuff. There was just some fun goofiness with the golems. That ending was fantastic. Just like, yeah, you now have to have a boss fight against Frieren. Good luck, buddy. It did not go so well for him a few episodes ago. But, that was the episode. It was a good episode. I had a good time. Next week is episode 24, because they said it's going to be 2 consecutive cores. Oh, sorry. They said it's going to be 2 consecutive cores. So, I think I said this last week as well. I don't know if it ends on 24. I doubt it, because I believe they said there's 3 tests. I imagine test 2 is going to probably end with episode 24, and then 25 and 26 to wrap up the Hunter exam. I guess there's a non-zero chance that the Hunter exam won't end in season 1, and then there'll be an OVA or a movie for the end of the arc, because I don't know exactly how the arc ends. Like, if the last test is long enough for an OVA or a movie, I mean, for an OVA, sure, but for, like, a whole movie, maybe not, we'll see. Hopefully it finishes in a nice little bow, but gets you excited for the rest of the series. And probably as soon as it's done, I'm just going to say, okay, One Piece, I'm sorry. Worm, I'm sorry. Well, Worm, I kind of doing other shit. So it's like, One Piece, I'm sorry. I am reading Frieren right now. I am getting caught up, and I'm really, no shade to One Piece. I'm enjoying Saipia quite a bit. Really looking forward to binging Frieren.